starting with this one. Marvel Studios, who said they were going to do some slowing down. Well, it doesn't look like they're slowing down, Steph, because they have 4 movies coming out in 2028. Disney Pictures has announced that Marvel Division is scheduled to release an untitled movie on December 15th, 2028. That would make the 4th feature that Marvel has set aside for release in 2028, following the already earmarked for February, May, and November of that year. The news caught many a surprise as Bob Iger has publicly spoken about how the company has lost focus by making too much and so intended to reduce the output to more than 3 films per year. And then July's Fantastic Four First Steps will mark the 3rd and final film to be released in 2025. Both 2026 and 2027 presently only have 2 Marvel films set to open each year. Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avenger Doomsday is 2026, and an untitled project, and Avengers Secret Wars in 2027. It's widely expected at least some of these 2028 films, none of them which reveal titles, will be pushed back to the coming years in 2029. In terms of what the special projects could be, Black Panther 3 seems fairly certain to be one, along with Shang-Chi sequel and an untitled X-Men film by Michael Leslie. Development on Blade is on hold, and Armor Wars has slowed down right now. Meanwhile, Marvel Studios has also reportedly axed its Marvel Studios Assembled series, one-off specials that go into the making of MCU projects in order to hype their releases. That news isn't surprising, as the Agatha All Along special was the last one produced. Marvel Studios has also finally announced the Thunderbolts home video dates with the title set to hit digitally on July 1st, followed by a disc release on July 29th. So, Steph, it is a little shocking, as they say in the report there. You've got Bob Iger, who has famously said, no, we're not going to make as much. It's more about quality now, not quantity. But kind of don't listen to that, because we have 4 movies coming out now in 2028. 3 was a lot at one point. 4, I don't think there's a world where 4 comes out. Do you? Warm weather hits suddenly. I'm juggling vacations. There's visitors. Zero routine. Hydrow brings me back to that structure so I can get quick, efficient workouts that keep me feeling grounded no matter what my calendar looks like. So for Hydrow, if you didn't know, I've been telling you guys, I've been going and working out 4 days a week, but I need other things sometimes when I can't get to the gym. And I've been really loving Hydrow, because one thing that I love, you never get bored. Hydrow's got tons of workouts with actual Olympians, and they're filmed in these gorgeous outdoor spots all over the world. It makes it way easier to stay motivated. Doesn't matter if you're training hard or just trying to stay active. Hydrow really meets you where you're at. It's low impact, so it's easy on your joints, but still gives you that perfect mix of strength and cardio. If you're on the fence, there's a free shipping, 30-day risk-free trial, and Hydrow offers a full year warranty. Honestly, no pressure. Just try it and see how it feels. Getting a good sweat used to mean hours in the gym. Hydrow, you can do it all at home on my schedule, 20 minutes. Rowing on my Hydrow gets me that full body workout without ever having to leave my house. It's so easy. I have it set up now. I was so excited when I got it, and it really does. You feel like you can't even describe how amazing it is to hit all of these spots. So you can skip the gym, not the workout. Stay on track with Hydrow. For a limited time, go to hydrow.com and use the code Kristian to save up to $470 off your Hydrow. hydrow.com. Use that code Kristian. Save up to $475. Hydrow.com. Use the code Kristian.
I don't think so. I just feel like they're doing, for example, with Across the Spider-Verse, I feel like they're really taking their time. So it is curious, like you said. I feel like it's the opposite of what they've been saying and doing. They really did slow it down. Like, we don't even know when Spider-Verse is coming out. And so I don't think so. I don't think I feel like that, because they would have to be already moving on it. And I mean,
They might
maybe
be,
they
though.
are.
They might be.
What?
They
Yeah,
might
but
be.
they might be.
Because I think that the thing that I do, there's 2 things. One, I think that all of those movies that are planned are all going to production and are all going to happen. I don't think that I think November into December is really tough when you're in a spot right now that you don't have. If it was like 5-6 years ago, and I'm like, look, they're ballsy, but they keep hitting. I mean, Thunderbolts is a good movie, and it did poorly.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four needs to do well, and then the Avengers movies obviously need to do well. I think that that report was right. I think Shang-Chi sequel, and I think that the other one, Black Panther, which it looks like we'll get into that story in a little bit. It looks like they are pushing that one forward. I feel like with the heat that Ryan Coogler has right now, they're going to push his movie. I feel like the fact that Denzel Washington came out and said that he was in the movie, I feel like now they're talking to more people. We're going to have a story in just a little bit about potentially that they're going to replace T'Challa, and then we might have our replacement now. So everything seems to be pointing in Black Panther 3 right now.
Hmm.
Do you think that's a potential?
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like because of all the speculation and the kind of confirmed conversation around it,
Right.
it would make sense. I feel like if it's not just a placeholder, to kind of like tell other studios we're probably coming at this time, then that would seem like the most likely plan moving forward, because like we were just saying, they would have to be moving forward with it, and maybe he does have a script ready for that, and then that would make more sense in that timeline.
I feel like the script is ready because even when he was talking about, because well, Denzel, I think, spoke a little too soon a couple months ago. I mean, not a couple months, so it was months ago. And recently, Ryan Coogler addressed it and pretty much confirmed that Denzel would be in it. I think it obviously takes I think the Magneto call of Denzel playing Magneto is not going to be a thing. I think he's going to be in Black Panther. The question of who or what, I don't know. It's funny though that all these stories about Black Panther are coming out now. Sam and I just watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever yesterday because
Oh my gosh.
we wrapped up She-Hulk. We finished She-Hulk. Episodes 1 through 3 aired. 4 through 6 air tomorrow. Um, and then I'm going to put the remainder on Saturday so I can put Black Panther up on Tuesday because I think I'm gonna shift a little bit. Normally I've followed everything, by release order for her, but what she hasn't done yet and what I haven't done yet is that we have not watched something together that we both haven't seen. And I think we're going to do that with Ironheart.
Okay.
'Cause she just did Black Panther, so she'll know who it is, and I think that way they're only releasing 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6. Like, it's only 6 episodes, so I think we'll do all 3 in one video, and then we'll do that, and then we'll jump back to it because, now she knows who Riri is, so it makes sense for her.
What are your thoughts going into Ironheart?
I'm not credibly excited for it. I especially after watching the movie again, there's a lot of things that hit inside of that movie, but I still think that she was just kind of forced into it. I didn't like her introduction and how they introduced her at all. I don't think she had the reaction that they were hoping for in order to justify having a full series for her. I think she's a good actress. I just don't think she's got that kind of pop where you're like, okay, I want to see a full show about this character. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of excitement around the show at the moment. But then again, it could be very surprising. It also doesn't bode well for it. I think that they're kind of giving it the somewhat of the Echo treatment where they're like, here's 1 through 3, here's the
Right.
rest, and here's Fantastic Four now. What
Right.
about you? What about you?
Kind of similar. Like I was really excited for the introduction of the character, and I do like her as an actress. I didn't love her arc in the movie. I didn't
Yeah,
love the character's arc in the movie, so I didn't fully fall in love with the character, and I've thought about like what would I think work or doesn't work in terms of introducing characters, because on one hand I understand like a show to flesh out a character, but then it's like I kind of want to see their whole origin story so I can really be like, oh, okay, I want to see this character in the movies. And I have that similar discussion with all of like the new Avengers. It's like what introduction worked for me, what didn't. Obviously
right,
Bucky is like so great because I feel like he was in that original movement where they were so good at grounding their characters, and then like you just wanting to follow them. Like Iron Man and Captain America have the best intros still to this day for me. But they have their own solo movies, so it's tough.
right. Yeah, and I just think that, and even again, I just watched the movie yesterday, Wakanda Forever, and like it's just a little inconsistent. She shows up, they show up to get her in the college dorm, and she's just, as she would be, she's in awe, but she's still hesitant. And then she gets taken to this water world, and she's there, and she's scared out of her mind, as she would be. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go back to Wakanda," and then she almost drowns, and then she's flying around in the sky, no problem, like she's Iron Man, and there was no build to it. She just is able to do that now. She did it the first time when they were at the dorm, but it was like wonky, and she was kind of maneuvering it, and she's just able to fight Namor. Like, how? Like, she shoots Namor and gets him, and I'm like, it there was no build to it, and it's surprising because Ryan Coogler is so good at building characters, and it felt like me back then, and it felt like it even more watching it. She was thrown into this to say, "Hey, this is going to be a very popular movie," and we got it because remember at the time the show was supposed to they showed this D23 trailer in 2022. Like,
Mm,
this show was supposed to come
yeah,
out like 3
yeah.
years ago. So I'm curious to see where this world goes and how and if it delivers. I hope it does. I mean, I hope it's solid. They need a win right now.
Is
As
Ryan
far
Coogler producing or is
as
he attached? He's producing.
you're talking about the movie, or are you talking about Ironheart?
Show.
Ironheart, he's produced.
Ironheart.
Yeah, he's produced.
Okay. Yeah, it was like that movie had so much to accomplish. So it's like really hard to judge. I'm excited to see what the character does in her own show with kind of more
Mhm.
space to move. Like that movie was like we were all like, what are they gonna do? This is the hardest position to be
It was
in
so tough.
for
Yes.
yeah, for a movie maker. This
Yeah.
is crazy. And then in that, obviously the studios were pressing for her character,
Mhm.
which like makes sense in the scheme of things, but I think it was just like a tough place to be in. So I welcome like a freer introduction.
If it was I think that if they were in a position where they were supposed to be, obviously, because they started writing part two before Chadwick Boseman had passed, and then they were Ryan Coogler, to his credit, um, maneuvered a very emotional story using
Mhm.
stuff of not only his lead actor, but someone who became a personal friend. And it was there's some very emotional, huge, touching moments in it, and what they accomplished in the time that they did. I said it back then, and I said it again after watching it, is really extraordinary. Um, and I don't want to ruin it for people as far as what Sam thought about it, because we finished that one. We watched the last episode of She-Hulk together because we hadn't done that yet, and then we went right into Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Um, I can say that she did not like She-Hulk at all.
Oh my
No, she did not.
no.
She thought it was terrible, and she's
I
not wrong.
never know where she's that's the interesting part about Sam. I feel like every time I look at one of her reviews with you,
Yeah,
it's like I never know where she's
where
gonna
she's gonna
land
go.
other than on really emotional stuff. I know
Sure.
she's gonna feel it because she's an
Right.
empath, and I like
Yeah.
that about her. But everything else, I have no idea where she's gonna land.
She didn't know for me after we watched the first three, because Roxy's like, "You influenced her." I was like, I promise you, I did not. I like I have such a poker face throughout the entire thing, and then at the end, Sam even says to me, she goes, "You liked that, didn't you?" And I go, "I actually didn't at all." And she's at the end. It's a funny moment, and I'll spoil it for people who are watching this too. In the finale, she there's something that happened, like the ending happens where I hated the ending of She-Hulk when she's walking around the writer's room and all that nonsense. Sam looked at me at one point, she pauses, and she put her hands around my neck and started choking me. I said, "I didn't make the show."
Oh my god.
She hated it. She hated it so much. So,
Oh god, I'm gonna tune into that review. It's so
yeah,
bad. I'm like starting to understand the world of people who watch reactions because I
yeah,
like a lot of people's
yeah,
reactions
yeah.
too now. And I do fall into where I think the majority is. It's like you're either there to watch someone love the movie you love
Right.
or hate the movie you hate.
100%. Yeah, we had it was funny because yesterday I don't I was talking to Luke about it. I said, I just don't really understand how YouTube works at all, right? Because I'm like, after doing it for all these years, still don't get it. And I'm like, the Final Destination reactions that we were doing were pretty popular. Popular enough to where people were checking out with me and Tina. And I'm like, well, the only one they're going to really want to watch is the sixth one. Where it's a new one. I haven't seen it. Tina hasn't seen it, and we're gonna check that. That one will do well. And I put it out yesterday, and it was like doing bad, and I'm like, I don't get it. And then
I
today,
don't get
but then today I woke up, and now it's doing great. So it was like it took time for people to see it. I don't know, but I just and Luke said it too. He's like it'll catch on. Just give it a little bit of time. But we were both like scratching our heads, going, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It's maybe
yeah.
pushed around. No idea.
I
So
can't wait to see her reaction on that.
on She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah. She-Hulk, it's I mean, you should see the first three. She starts the first one, she didn't mind. Same with me. I didn't mind the first two. It's what happens afterwards. And but we agreed that Tatiana Maslany is great because people kept asking me, they're like, why are you showing her this? And I said, because I think she's going to be in Secret Wars.
I really hope that they find a way to, well, because obviously the show was made separate from kind of the entire MCU vibe that we're used to. And I like
Mhm.
that. And I get why people didn't like that. And I do understand a need for this character if she's going to be in the greater story. It
Right.
needs to fit a little bit more by the rules that we're used to and kind
Yeah.
of the stories that are working for the groups. But it would be such a shame to not utilize Tatiana Maslany
I
to
agree.
the fullest extent.
I agree. And you should and give her the treatment that you did. Like when you saw what happened with the way that they kind of watered down Kingpin in Hawkeye, right? Because they were gearing on to do
Mhm.
a kind of watered down in general version of what Daredevil was, and then they turned that around and they paid justice to how Kingpin was in the Netflix series, and they even let him be that version in Echo, right? Let's see a different version of She-Hulk. And I know in the comics she talks to the cameras and all that stuff. I understand that, but I just the problem with that show and Thor: Love and Thunder is that they just it seems like they're making fun of being in comic book stuff more than it feels like they're embracing it. And like Deadpool does it too, but it feels like he's still embracing the fact that he's in the movie, and it feels like it still feels real even when he's goofing around. Those two things, it's like I felt like I was watching Saturday Night Live, and not a good version.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
I
yeah,
I feel like they'll have to balance what world we're living in with these newer Avengers,
yeah,
and because I know, like, for example, Daredevil and She-Hulk, they kind of have, like, completely different lives than the normal superhero stuff we're used to
mhm,
watching, so I think that they're having a problem, like, balancing when they bring them in to the other world, what it looks like.
yeah. It's a question like to see how it's all going to fit into the world for sure. And then also, as we're talking about these four movies that are coming out in 2028, it's like, all right, and Shang-Chi, you would assume it has to be Shang-Chi part two because they've done nothing with the character, like
I
nothing.
know.
And the character and the movie, first of all, when that was another one I watched with Sam again, and I'm glad I did feel the same way I did about it. I think it's a really solid movie that unfortunately was given. Well, now we got to have a Marvel ending. I didn't like it's
The
a Marvel
CGI
movie, right?
dragon.
Yeah, it's just too much for me. But I love the characters. I love the father and son and daughter thing and everything that they had to do and the tragedy of the family and bring out like I thought he was great in it. I thought Aquafina was really good. I thought everybody was really solid in that movie. The bus scene is such a great scene. And the characters is great. I like the character of Shang-Chi, and I was like, okay, where do we go with this character? And they set up this whole thing in the post, and it's like, now that I'm doing anything with them, show up. He's going to show up, obviously, in the Avengers, but if that gives you an opportunity to then spin that and give him the second film, I think you take a shot with that one.
I agree. I think that one was a hit, and it was during the, like, pandemic time when
Yeah.
the theaters were just reopening.
Mhm.
So, I feel like, to me, that feels like a no-brainer. It's such a fun character. He's a great
Yeah,
actor, and he's well-loved. So, it's like, I don't know, it feels simple.
it is. And the other thing I think that we'll bring that up too. This is a separate story, but then Fantastic Four 2 is going to get their movie. But I think that all that makes sense to me. Black Panther 3, Shang-Chi 2, um, and then Spider-Man and all that. Then you gotta just stick with X-Men and Fantastic Four moving forward, I think. Because that to me, it seems like that's the strategy overall.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that when we get after the second after Secret Wars, they're going to lead heavy with X-Men. So that seems to be the strategy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm an X-Men girly. I
Yeah.
cannot wait for the X-Men era
Yeah.
to re-arrive.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm so curious. How do you think? You think that it's I feel like the first one, Doomsday, is going to really focus heavy on the Fox X-Men. Like the Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, all of them. And then I think the second movie is going to introduce all of our new X-Men to where we can then say, okay, let's go. Like they kind of passing the torch finally, you know?
And yeah, I think that's probably what they're gonna do, but I also am curious if there's any solo character to be slated in the same way that we got introduced to the original Avengers.
Mhm.
Like, are they gonna bank on any just personal storylines, or are they only gonna do the whole group together?
It's interesting. I mean, as far as Avengers go, you mean? Or X-Men?
No, X-Men.
I think I know I've gotten to this conversation many times over. I think you open with a collective X-Men movie. You start with X-Men, and what you don't do this time, you don't focus it heavy on Wolverine. You've got to focus it on
Yeah.
Cyclops. You've got to make him the lead. You got to like really embrace the other X-Men first. Get
Mhm.
that big team one first, get everyone excited and build those characters, and then spin-off movies. It's a different it's got the luxury of not having to build to the team movie as where they had to build to the Avengers, you got to build to the Justice League. This is you want to see them together first. You want to see how they work together, and then if you do a separate Wolverine movie, you do a separate Cyclops movie, you do a separate Magneto movie, whatever. You do kind of take a page if you can off of what DC is kind of doing, right? But do it. I'd like to see. Wouldn't you like to see like a $60 million A24 type of Magneto movie? It'd be
Oh my
great.
gosh. Yes.
It'd be great.
Magneto's always on the top of my list of solo movies I'd like to
Yeah,
see.
love to see that. So, anyway, there's a lot going on, man, with Marvel in general. What do you guys think? What do you make of it? You think that they should do four movies? Do you think they're even going to do four movies? Is one of those going to get pushed back, one of the November or December movies, and pushed into 2027? And should they do that? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.